Okay, everybody thinks the desert is just hot in the summer, but there's more to it. There are 6 funny and quirky things that I'm going to go over with you, and actually one's kind of gross. So stick with me. This is summer in the desert. So the first one has something to do with what's on our screen right now. The first one is the water runs hot and hot. Hot and hot. It's both sides of the tap. The water's hot. So if you've lived in an area like Phoenix or Las Vegas, and I lived in Las Vegas for a long time, you already know this. But people who have moved here usually are kind of surprised. So when we were doing the walkthrough for this particular house, we, my husband was telling the guy, he said, "Oh, there's something wrong with the sink because the faucet's hot on both sides." And I was like, "No, never mind. It's totally fine, babe. That's how it works in the desert." So, but yeah, so something just get a Brita, keep it in your fridge, and that's kind of our summer thing that we do. But yeah, so that's going to be number one. Number two, though, is this gorgeous Mexican bird of paradise. These stunning orange flowers are ones that they only really get beautiful. And I took a couple of pictures in my yard. Well, that's our lime tree. That's not the Mexican bird of paradise. But I took a couple of pictures in our yard. I just think these things are just the prettiest flowers in the world. So that's number two. Number three, the Coachella Valley golf cart. My husband got this. He's never going to be in one of these videos. He should be because he's a big topic here. But anyway, he loves golf. It's one of the reasons that we wanted to move here. News Channel 3, this is our favorite news channel, and we always watch Patrick Evans, and in the morning he does all of the weather and everything. Anyway, they're awesome. They're hilarious. But in the meantime, they also promote this Coachella Valley golf cart. And you get 11 of the Valley's best courses for $129. It is a limited number of cards. He's got until the end of this month because I'm recording this in September of 2025. He can do the lights at Indio. He can do the golf center at Palm Desert, Woodhaven, Cimarron. He actually just did this one. He paid the cart fee, and that was it. And I know it sounds kind of crazy. He goes at 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's really not that bad most days. Every now and then it might be a little too hot. He gets to play some amazing courses. The Weston, Desert Princess, Shadow Mountain, Mission Lakes. I mean, like, okay, every now and then there's a cart fee or something like that. And he's playing these for next to nothing, which is awesome. Number 4 is the Greater Las Vegas. Let's see, I'm already talking about Las Vegas. The Greater Palm Springs Summer Eats Pass. This is a fabulous idea that Palm Springs, they have this Visit Greater Palm Springs website, which is a great one to go to. So it's this one here, Visit Greater Palm Springs. And this particular website or this program that they have is you just put the app on your phone. And then when you go to local restaurants, you will check in that you're there at the restaurant, and then you get points, and then they do prizes and things like that. And it's just a way to really keep the local restaurants viable through the summer because, there's a lot of restaurants here that we absolutely love. And, we want them to have that summer business. In fact, we probably eat out more in the summer because of that, because we want to make sure that we're supporting our local restaurants. Well, and quite frankly, it's easier to get a table. So then there's that as well. So that would be the next one. On to the next. Okay, number 5. Here's the gross one. Boardman bugs. So we went to our pool the first summer that we lived here. And I get in the pool and I didn't really notice right at first. I just thought maybe, it was one of those days that, they clean the pools on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it was like a Sunday. So I thought, well, maybe it's just, And then I looked, I was like, oh my God, it's bugs. They're actually usually not this bad. They're this bad right here. But it was really, really funny because I said, oh my God, they didn't know this is disgusting. So we went to a different pool and they're alive. They're living in the pool. But here's the good news. They don't last that long. They're not dangerous and they will move on. And literally, like they're usually here for like a day or two and then they're completely gone. So if you ever do go out to the pool and you're like, what on earth is going on here? That's what it is. It's the Boardman bugs have come to visit you. All right, that's number 5, and that's the gross one. Okay, here's number 6, and this one is probably my favorite. When we first moved here, we really did were like, wow, it's hot, It's not, I mean, again, if you've lived in Phoenix, if you've lived in Las Vegas, this is not much different. It really isn't. I would say it's a little bit more humid than it is in Las Vegas. I haven't spent enough time in Phoenix to really speak to the differences, but I would imagine that because we do get that monsoonal moisture from the Sea of Cortez, which is between Baja and mainland Mexico, it's possible that Phoenix also doesn't get a little bit of humidity, but trust, it's not humid all the time. Although, if you do see the temperatures down a little bit, and they actually have been this year, a lot of times it's because the moisture will keep the temperatures down a little bit more. And when it's hotter, when you see it's usually like 115 or even 120, which we've been in, it's usually drier when that happens. And to me, I've always said there's usually 3 months of the year where you're going to be in, unless you could afford to live in San Diego. And for me personally, we can't. So there's usually going to be 3 months of the year-ish where there's going to be something that is uncomfortable, right? If you're more north, it's probably going to be cold, but if you're more south, it's probably going to be hot. And I always say I would rather be 120 than 20. That's my thoughts. I know a lot of people are like, I can't believe you can live there in the summer. It's really not that big of a deal. I would rather be here in the summer than in a place where it's freezing outside and, and it's 20 degrees in the wintertime. So that's, I picked my poison and that's the one that I picked. Now, after living here for multiple summers, we both noticed that we start to talk about when summer starts coming, because the one of the end of the season is usually April. And in April is when we have the festivals here. So we have Coachella and we have Stagecoach. We actually live very close to Coachella and Stagecoach. So we incur some of the, it's just inconvenience. It's not that big of a deal. You figure out where to drive and how to get away from the crowds. But or you just kind of stay home and make sure that you've got all the stuff you need from the grocery store so you don't have to go. But no, quite frankly, if you just avoid certain areas, you barely know that it's going on. So what we've noticed though is at least the traffic and a lot of the people start to clear out in May. And even though we know it's getting hotter and we know that that's going to be the thing for the next 3, 4 months, we actually start kind of going, it's great because you get the desert a little bit more to yourself. You get much more empty streets. You get, and in this particular case, this is inside of our Trader Joe's, which they actually just redid, and it looks gorgeous, by the way. So this is the one in La Quinta, and I took this picture, as you can see here, in June, and I was just like, yeah, this is what I love about summer is this right here, being able to go to Trader Joe's and not have, and trying to get your cart around 100 people that are just standing randomly in the middle of the aisle. Don't get me started on that. But so that is some of the stuff that we do love about living here in the summer. So yes, it's hot, but it's got its own rhythm. It's got its own little quirks, and it's very unique. And I feel like there's sort of a kinship for those of us who survived the desert in the summertime. And honestly, I know I just made it sound very dramatic. It's really not that dramatic. You might be surprised how easy it is to live here in the summertime. And that if you treat it just like bundling up in the winter, like you would in some places, and you're just unbundling in the summer and you're staying in the air conditioning, for the most part, very, very doable. So I hope this helps you when you're making your decisions about whether you're just going to snowbird or maybe you're going to live here full time. And maybe you've been a little bit worried about, hey, we want to buy a retirement home. We really can't afford two homes. We don't just want to snowbird. We really do want to move there and live there full time. But gosh, yes, it sounds like so crazy to live there in the summertime. It's not. Lots of us do it and we get by just fine. So hopefully this helps. If you have any more questions about living in the desert, I would be more than happy to answer them at any time. And you can always leave those questions in the comments below as well. And if you do enjoy my videos, it really does help if you would like and subscribe. It's not, if you don't, it's dull. But if you are enjoying watching them, it does help me get my videos out to more people. And if you watch any amount of YouTube, you probably already know that, and I don't need to say it, but why not? I'm going to throw it in there. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And again, if you have questions, comments, you can leave it below, or of course, there's always all of my information below on how to contact me. And I also have links below too, how to go to, excuse me, how to 4 different just giveaways. That's what I'm trying to say. There's lots of giveaways, like things you should know before moving to the desert, things you should know about getting a loan if you haven't done that in a while. I had market reports that I've done as well, so you can kind of see what's going on with our market and pricing and different things like that. So enjoy. It's all down there for you, and it's all free.